Business communications, cross-generational communication. For the first time in the U.S., there are organizations that have up to 5 generations working for them. However, for this video, we are going to focus on the 3 largest groups. Baby boomers, who are generally born between 1946 and 1964. Baby boomers tend to have a strong work ethic. They are self-assured, competitive, resourceful, team-oriented, and very disciplined. Then we have Generation X, generally born between 1965 to 1976. Generation X is often independent, resourceful, and self-sufficient. They value freedom and responsibility in the workplace. Then we have Generation Y, born between 1977 and 1995. Enjoy a work and life balance. They enjoy networking. They tend to be very good with technology. They're independent and often appreciate speed. These generations are learning to work together, and they're also trying to figure out how to communicate effectively. Communication can be difficult even when you are speaking with someone who has a lot of the same influences and traits as you. So you can imagine how difficult it can be for people from different generations to communicate effectively, and a lack of this cross-generational communication can negatively impact the organizations they are working for. So where is the disconnect? I know that everyone is guilty of stereotyping, and when it comes to age stereotyping, it seems that we are slower to correct ourselves when making these assumptions. Young generations are irresponsible, older generations are slow. I'm sure we can all think of times that we have made assumptions about someone because of their age. There's also a lack of understanding between the generations. Each generation has different traits and events and people that have influenced their lives and made them appreciate and view things in their own way. For instance, baby boomers lived through civil rights, the Vietnam War, sexual revolution, the Cold War, and space travel. And Generation X, we lived through Watergate, the energy crisis, Y2K, and tend to be dual-income families and single parents. Or Generation Y, who grew up with digital media in a child-focused world, dealing with school shootings, AIDS, and 9/11 and terrorist attacks. All of these experiences and influences change how you grow up and how you view the world. And there's often just a lack of understanding what somebody lived through, went through, the things that influenced them. Each generation also tends to have their preferred styles of communication, from baby boomers who prefer to communicate in person, speaking openly but diplomatically, or Generation X who prefer to be blunt and direct, with plenty of facts and short and to the point, or Generation Y who likes polite and positive communication, and preferably not in person unless it's vital. These differences in communication styles can make it very difficult for the generations to communicate with each other and communicate effectively. So what happens when there is a lack of cross-generational communication? Tension in the workplace grows. People become uncomfortable and unwilling to work together. Stereotypes and assumptions will get worse. How will they ever know that someone is not what they're thinking of them unless they talk to them? There can be a loss of opportunities. Now, this isn't only for the people that are working there, but also for the company itself. If there's a lack of communication between your workers, then there's a lack of communication everywhere, and it's going to affect your business. And instead of everyone working together as a team, it can turn into a game of tug-of-war, where each generation is trying to get ahead and show the others up. So what is the solution? Well, you can fight. You can fight the stereotypes. Remind people to avoid making assumptions And be aware of stereotyping and how inappropriate it is. Gain. You can gain some understanding. Try some exercises where your workers can share information about themselves that might help others to understand them better and see where they're coming from. You can recognize. Recognize preferences. Help them to understand that everyone is different and they should do their best to make everyone comfortable. Whether that means shooting an email where you would normally go and talk to someone, or going and talking to someone when you'd rather just leave a voicemail. And you can consider a mentor program. Some organizations have started pairing different generations together to have them share their knowledge and create a more rounded workforce. Ultimately, it comes down to us to fight the stereotypes, to get some understanding, to recognize preferences, and to work together to create an environment where everyone can communicate effectively, even across generational gaps.